This is so awesome. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little DeLorean.
I can barely contain myself. This broke. The news broke during the Super Bowl when they released a teaser.
Right.
Honestly, a little dig at them. If they've got the money to put an ad on television during the Super Bowl, they could potentially put a better resolution quality of it on their website. It just looks really bad. It's pixelated. You could tell it's scaled up too large for the resolution of the image. But I digress. DeLorean is coming out with a new model.
Could you repeat that, please?
There will be a new DeLorean in your future. You see what I did there, Jay?
Ooh, we're going back to the future, aren't we?
Maybe in my future.
Now.
So, yeah.
Just before we get into it, I want to know really how excited are you about this?
On a scale of 1 to 10, this is an 11.
Whoa. Yeah, I figured.
Okay, if there's anybody from my family listening to this right now, I need you to just turn the volume down and mute it. Just let it play, but turn it down so that you can't hear what I'm about to say for about the next 15 seconds. Okay, ready, go. All right, wait, let me give you 5 seconds to get the knob turned down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I think, Jay, and the rest of our listeners, I'm going to have to start sliding in some conversations about a future purchase and a pre-order so that I'm greasing the skids, so to speak, because I think it needs to happen.
I do as well. Now, I remember you were one that was you may have been looking at one of the older ones.
I did. I basically made
you were close.
No, the commitment word, like I was intent to buy, had the guy, we were in talks, and there was an odd string of events that happened during that time. And there was something in my gut that just said, I'm not so sure about this.
Yeah.
And then I think the pandemic and a lot of things broke loose, and it was kind of good timing.
I am a firm believer that if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you are as well. And this might be the reason why. So let's get into it. What did DeLorean tell us during the Super Bowl?
So it's a teaser video. Most of the vehicle is in shadows. You can see the iconic gull wing doors open up from the side, so you know it's gonna have those. From the look of the lighting on the front of it, it looks like they're going EV. Does it not to you?
I'm pretty certain that's what it's gonna be. And here's why. Look, this is one of those iconic vehicles, brands.
Yeah.
That can get away with doing this. If anything, for me, I would expect them to go EV with this vehicle because of its. And people need to realize this was a very short life vehicle, 81 to 82. I think
push the envelope
for what it was.
Yep,
absolutely. It really wasn't made that famous until 3-4 years later.
4 years later.
Back to the Future comes out.
It was an expensive vehicle. Didn't have really no car in the 80s had a lot of horsepower, but it was underpowered to an extent.
Big time underpowered.
Peugeot made a lot of the engines. They weren't great engines, but the car itself, so many of them are still on the road today because of the quality of the build. I mean, that stainless steel. I mean, just John DeLorean took everything that he learned at General Motors and basically
blew it right up his nose.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that too, but he was hell-bent on a supermodel car.
Right.
And it's icon. We love things that push the envelope. That's why I think we talk about Rivian and Tesla all the time, because they're pushing that envelope, right?
Right.
So we don't know a whole lot more than that. We know that they're going to open the doors in 2022, so this year, for orders. Now, those pre-orders, how do you want to qualify that? They're basically saying on their Twitter feed, by the way, we're on Twitter, @TheCounterShow, DeLorean is saying the future was never promised. Reimagine today. Reimagine today. Sign up for the premiere of the DeLorean in 2022. So the premiere of the DeLorean this year, but we don't know what model year it's going to be.
Right. My suspicion is it'll be a 2023,
Okay.
maybe a 2024. I mean, we're going to talk about something that happened a little later on in this podcast that has been talked about for 4 years that just finally was revealed, and we'll talk about that a little later in our podcast. But this DeLorean, it has to be an EV.
Okay.
It has to be an EV.
Let's do a. So I've basically, again, anybody from my family that's listening at this moment, I need you to turn the volume down and count to 15 and then turn it back up. Okay, here we go. Ready? Go. Okay, so we've established that I'm already committed to buying one of these. So here are the things that I need to see, Jay, to make that, like, to keep me in the reservation system, meaning when this comes out and you and I can see details on it, here are some things that I absolutely must have to further that commitment. Okay, and welcome back to my family members listening into the program. Okay, so number one, the gullwingdoors. I mean, like, come on, we already know it's going to have that, but you got to have that. I mean, if you don't, you know. Powertrain, if it's not an EV, it can't be a dog. It's got to be something rock solid, right? And that means that DeLorean is going to have to partner with another engine manufacturer. So it's got to be a solid engine.
Right.
Really doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Really does look like it's going to be an EV, or at least an EV version will be offered.
Right.
Other things, I'm pretty sure it's going to need to be stainless steel.
Yeah. It does. I agree with you. I want it to be that, but I think that what they should do is give that. You can have the traditional version, stainless steel, all stainless steel, but offer it in, say, 2 or 3 other different colors.
Okay.
You know, maybe a red one, maybe a black one.
They actually did do to the original version. Later on, they started offering painted options for people that didn't want the stainless.
I think that some people are a little hesitant with stainless steel. They don't know enough about it to understand how to maintain it, maybe, and you know, that sort of stuff. Which is, you know, that's an honest, you know, thing to not want to have to deal with. You know, paint, you put, you know, you get it detailed, you get wax on it, whatever. It's protected. Actually, some of the paints that they put on these things today, anyway, are so good. From the factory, they're pretty well ready for anything. But
I would take pause if they didn't offer a stainless, for me, if I didn't have a stainless or exposed metal option. For me, right? Like, that's, you know, now if they did it in some sort of anodized, I don't know, aluminum or something, I think I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
But as long as it's an exposed metal type, you know, we'll see, right?
Right. So why don't you get into some of the hashtags in the tweet? I think that's a telling.
Yeah, so they hashtagged, well, they're playing around with EV. It's hashtag DeloreanEVolved, but the EV is capitalized.
Right.
Which makes me think EV, right?
Right, but then they go
DeLorean, auto, electric vehicle, and then luxury, right? So it's going to be high end.
Right.
Which it needs to be. It does need to be. It's going to be an expensive car, everybody. This is not going to be a high volume, sales volume automobile.
No.
They're going to sell these in lower quantities.
And I'll tell you why they're going to go EV.
Okay.
Because if they're going to reveal it this year and have a model year, say 2023.
Yeah.
And you're not an engine builder, right?
Yeah.
Electric vehicles are a lot easier to deal with when it comes to EPAs and stuff.
I would agree, unless that's already been filed for, but then it would be public, right?
That's
we would have to have already known about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I would wonder what platform they're on, though. I would want to know that. I mean, wonder if they're partnered up with someone like, say, a Fisker. You know what I mean? Or a Lucid.
Yeah.
Who are they with? Because there's another company out there
Tesla.
There's another company out there called Atlas, who is actually selling a physical platform.
Right.
The skateboard, if you will. And, you know, who knows? We don't know enough yet. But what I can say is that for them to achieve a production model vehicle in, say, a year model 2023, to me, it just seems like the path of least resistance right now would be electric vehicle. And again, it would bring a lot of excitement Again, this is going to be one of those vehicles that you can electrify and people will absolutely love it.
And I do feel this is another important consideration. It wouldn't necessarily be a deal breaker for me, but it's important. And this is something Ford did with the Bronco, and we've seen several manufacturers do recently. Make it friendly to the aftermarket. So, with the Bronco, there's so many modular options, right? Where you've got all these pre-wired buttons and panels and all that, because you better bet yourself that people are going to go buy some Mr. Fusion and slap it on the back. Right? I mean, there's going to be stuff people are going to want to do with these. Okay?
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
You got to have your 88 miles per hour mod, right? Whatever, right?
Flex, your flux capacitor, air freshener, or whatever.
You got to have the time circuit thing you can detach or whatever.
Right.
And you joke, but there are people that are big enough fans of this movie that they're going to do that stuff to this car.
Wonder will it come with like a luxury white lab suit to put on?
Right, with an extra. Well, if it's plutonium powered, you just get the plutonium case right in the back or whatever.
There you go. Man. Yeah.
And interestingly enough, this car, the original trunk was in the front.
Let's see. Right there. I mean, there you go, dude. There are so many right things about this announcement. I'm excited. I cannot wait. We're going to follow this story. Keith, you promised me you'll stay on top of it.
There is no chance
now,
that we don't follow this story.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and we got to get Sideshot involved when this happens, is that once they make the announcement to where you can go in and reserve.
Oh, wow.
Let's do a live. Let's do a live reservation
in Texas.
Yeah.
They've also got some operations in California. Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll do a live reservation. We will try to get these folks involved.
Yeah.
I'm talking the people at DeLorean, and
right.
It's.
I can't wait.
How cool would it be if they did a commercial with some of the original cast?
Right. I think it's DeLorean. Here we are. We're coming up with ideas for you.
Solving the world's problem.
Please reach out to us. We'd love to have you on our podcast to talk about it and promote your vehicle. We would love to have you on here. You can come on our show and you can talk all you want about your DeLorean. I would love to have you on. So come on over. Do we know the CEO's name by chance?
It's been a while. I don't have it in my short-term recall.
That's changed hands several times in recent years too, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the love for the DeLorean from a pop culture standpoint is just to the moon, man. People absolutely love this vehicle, and again, it's a win-win situation for DeLorean going EV on this, because it's going to be one of those vehicles, unlike the Ford Mustang, where people were up in arms about them even just adding, putting the word Mustang on the car, which I get it. If you're a Mustang enthusiast and a lover of Ford Mustangs, I get it. But the way that it was explained to me, the reason why they used the Mustang name is that they wanted you to realize that it still embodied that unbridled, just force and power and just performance of the original Mustang. They never came out and said, "Hey, this is a Ford Mustang."
All right. So the answer to your question,
yes.
In '95. Steve Wynn, not that Steve Wynn, a mechanic from Liverpool, founded the current DeLorean Motor Company.
Okay.
So 1995.
Wow.
And the current, Steve Wynn is still the president.
Okay. And so you're saying not the same Steve Wynn?
No, it's not the mogul.
Gotcha.
No, this guy's he was a mechanic.
Right.
I don't think it's the same guy.
Hey, I tell you what.
Unless Steve Wynn, the real estate mogul, was a mechanic in a previous life, I don't think they're the same guy.
Right on. Hey, look, if you're listening to this, thank you. If you're not, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/partscountergurus. Make sure you leave us a comment. We want to hear what you think that this DeLorean should look like, should be. Should it be an EV? Should it be a gasoline-powered engine? What would you want them to carry over from the old model? What do you think the price range could be? Just give us an idea of what you think. That when they say it's going to be a luxury type vehicle, because that's what their focus is on, with modern stuff, and it's going to be electric. Just imagine that, and then leave us a comment, and we'll read you out on the mailbag, and we'll do a whole mailbag segment on the DeLorean comments. So there you go.
So a little bonus round for you here before we wrap. This is still a privately held company. I'm talking about the current iteration of DeLorean.
Okay.
Which, if you look at what, the path that Tesla went down and then later Rivian, it's expensive to roll out an EV platform without investor cash flow. Right. So we could be witnessing a change here very soon in the private status of. See, they're a private company. They don't really have to share much of anything because they don't have shareholders, right?
That's right.
But that could change.
Exactly.
They are still basically following their initial plans to do the low volume vehicle manufacturing. There was an act that was passed.
Which is great. I think that should be allowed. That's great.
So there you go. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
More soon for sure.
More coming. So just stay tuned. Just wait for the future.